This takes him into 0. A real boxer, a real world champion boxer. That the only other time he was in for the fans to get mad with that was against Fury's Tommy Fury, but it wasn't that level, obviously, and all the size things you just rightfully pointed out. But he would have been in there with, you know, I mean, it's.
Gervonta Tank Davis has stunned fans with his shocking new physique ahead of his showdown with Jake Paul. Known for his explosive power and compact frame, Davis has taken his training to another level, bulking up with muscle mass that's got the boxing world buzzing. Recent gym footage shows a noticeably thicker, more intimidating version of Tank, leading many to speculate he's preparing to meet Paul's size and strength head-on.
We were yelling so much about him fight somebody your size. His next opponent is, by far, the most credentialed guy ever fought actively in his prime. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. He fights at 135 pounds.
In the build-up to his showdown with Jake Paul, Gervonta Tank Davis has apparently turned his training regimen into a war on weakness, mixing high-intensity strength work, heavy sparring, and relentless conditioning to support his unusually large size gain. Footage and reports indicate he's integrating heavier resistance training, especially compound lifts, to build core and upper body bulk while still fitting in his usual speed and footwork drills to preserve agility. Meanwhile, sparring sessions reportedly include working with larger, more physical partners, even those resembling heavyweights, to acclimate his body to handling bigger opponents.
Yeah, this Santa Cruz right here, you can't let it burn, baby, let it burn. Mind over matter, son, mind over matter.
This is the blues on.
Ain't nobody doing no shit like this. Come in the desert. Nigga trying to stay away from the desert, he come in the desert.
When the night
Camera.
is cold.
Oh, see.
Light, camera, action.
And fighting for the
Light, action, camera.
Come on, Ted. Come on, Ted. Worm out. Worm out, Ted. Dig down in there. Dig down in there. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
This is a final play.
Remember with that gun on it? They got that gun on that tank. They go, time.
When the night is cold and low.
He ain't gonna keep you here late at night. Good job.
It's been hard being away from my daughter. You know, she actually here, she sleep. Just being away from her, it was a little touchy, but I know when I'm up, you know, up against, you know, I know that I got pay-per-view. You know, I know I'm fighting a tough opponent, so really I know how to lock in. I know how to shy away from everything. I know how to, like, I know how to fool around.
Nigga got ringworm.
I said 10, huh? Nah, don't do that. I can't go on TV looking like that.
However, Paul is a much heavier fighter by nature, and the rules for their fight stipulate a 195 pounds maximum weight and the use of 12-ounce gloves for both fighters. Davis, who usually fights at around 135 pounds, is being asked to bridge a chasm of size and strength. That disparity has raised serious eyebrows. Critics argue that piling on mass could blunt Davis's trademark speed and explosiveness, the very tools that have made him such a dangerous fighter.
Jake Paul, Tank Davis fight got moved to Miami.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but Jake Paul now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment in time.
I mean,
Gervonta
it's
is
just
fucking sick.
I mean, yeah, no, but dude,
Did you
Jake,
ever watch his highlights?
Jake can
He's
crack,
nasty,
man.
bro.
He's so sick.
He's
I love
nasty.
that guy, bro.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some pounds. Tank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Tank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you, apparently. Boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Tank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum-dum.
UFC boss Dana White didn't mince words when asked about a Paul versus Davis fight. He argued that hardly anyone is actually hyped for it, but conceded that the matchup might still do some good for Tank. After all, Davis has weathered a stretch of negative headlines and waning momentum beyond the ring, making him vulnerable. Paul's financial offer coming at this low point gives Davis a chance to recapture attention and cash in. White noted that while many mock the bout's legitimacy, it could provide Davis with exposure and revenue just when he could use both the most. He believes Jake Paul's height, reach, and brute strength would allow him to pressure Tank relentlessly, using his natural frame to lean in, impose clinches, and smother Davis's offense. White consts that Davis is a powerful technical boxer, but argues that when you bring someone accustomed to lighter opponents into Paul's physical realm, those advantages may vanish. Ultimately, White frames the potential outcome less as a boxing contest and more as a test of whether Davis can endure and overcome the sheer physical dominance Paul would bring into the ring.
Jake Paul to beat Gervonta Davis. This is not a fight that I'm excited for at all. I would rather have Gervonta Davis fighting in a real boxing match against the likes of Lamont Roach, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Emmanuel Navarrete, anybody that is in the 135-pound division and around. That's where I want to see Gervonta Davis fight. However, we live in a world where everybody is trying to do things as big as possible. And the biggest fights possible right now, unfortunately for the sport of boxing, is an exhibition fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. So I do like it for this reason, though. I like it because it is allowing Gervonta Davis to have a fight that is going to be big and that the mainstream media is going to have to cover, the mainstream media outside the world of boxing. Gervonta Davis has been, without a doubt, blocked, having venues blocked, having fighters, having other promoters paying fighters away to go different directions from Gervonta Davis. So Gervonta Davis was in a bit of a hole. And he gets an opportunity to fight Jake Paul for $200 million or whatever. I don't mind it at all. As long as Gervonta Davis comes back to the world of boxing after he gets done with this, hey man, you got your money, no worries. But you gotta love Dana White having the audacity to pick Jake Paul in this fight and says something to the effect that, hey, he was talking to Logan Paul and said, hey, when you were fighting Floyd, you know, there was this, you're a gigantic guy, big size difference. There was a time when Floyd Mayweather Jr. had an overhand right that landed flush on Jake Paul on low.
Bare knuckle fighter and former UFC star Mike Perry didn't hold back when sharing his thoughts on the rumored Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul matchup. Perry criticized Davis for taking what he called a cash grab fight instead of chasing true boxing challenges, questioning whether Tank still has the same fire and hunger that made him a world champion. According to Perry, Davis choosing to face a YouTuber turned boxer shows he's more focused on fame and money than on cementing his legacy in the sport. Perry even suggested that Jake Paul's work ethic and drive might surpass Davis's at this stage. His comment struck a nerve with fans, reigniting debate about where Davis's motivation really lies.
Jake is big, Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, Lamont Roach performed great, They went to draw, and, you know, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
During the face-off with Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis appeared noticeably uneasy, a rare sight for the usually confident knockout artist. Observers pointed out his tense body language, limited eye contact, and forced composure, suggesting that the significant size difference between the two fighters may have gotten into his head. Standing across from the much larger Jake Paul, Davis seemed to recognize the physical challenge ahead. While some fans believe he was simply staying calm and focused, others took his demeanor as a sign of doubt.